For this assignment, you'll need a pen and you'll need to print out this image right here. You may also pick it up from the school or trace it if you're able to hold the paper up to your screen and trace without hurting your computer screen. That's another option. You are going to shade these two pictures with cross-hatching, just like you've done before on your value scale. And you're pretty much just going to copy this image right here, which if you scroll down, you'll be able to see it on your screen. So notice the different areas of these pictures and how there's darker areas and lighter areas with different amounts of cross-hatching. So the more lines that are drawn on the paper, the darker it's going to get. Now this is a guide. If you want to switch yours up, if you want to darken in the sails on the sailboat and leave the sky lighter or go from dark to light in the sky, it's up to you. Just fill in each shape with some sort of hatching or cross hatching and go ahead and get creative. On these buildings, you'll notice that the sides are darker than the fronts. One thing that tells us is that there's a light source coming from this direction. All right, to get started, it's basically just get started. Start laying down some lines. So I'm going to do it like I see it on the picture. The lines are mostly just about 1/4 of an inch and half an inch long on the example. They don't get much longer than that, at least on the sailboat picture. Remember to be careful where you don't put too many lines down without really taking a look at your picture, because it's hard to go back in and erase those pen marks if you do too many. So start with fewer than you need and then add as you go. I think it probably is going to look best if you keep your lines maybe to 2 or 3 directions. So I've gone horizontally, diagonally this way, and diagonally that way. Just try to decide on a few different directions so it doesn't look too sloppy. And I'm already looking at mine and thinking, oh, it's a lost cause, I've messed up. But if you feel like that, just keep trucking ahead. It'll come out. I am a teacher who likes to see you make mistakes. So if you make mistakes on your paper, you just keep on going and leave those mistakes, okay? I think that they're really important to learning, especially, well, probably in anything, but in drawing, making those mistakes and learning from them, it's an essential part. And I think it always makes pictures look a little more interesting when you can see where the artist has made a mistake. I just made some really long lines there after telling you that they're all about 1/4 of an inch to a half inch. But if there are areas where there's quite a bit of shading, like right here, it's okay to put down some longer lines. Okay, I want you to go ahead and get started on this sailboat and try to finish it up. I'm going to stop right there so I don't bore you. You can get a good idea. One other thing, you can see down here in the water, these lines are wavy lines, which you haven't done yet, but that gives the idea that there's water right there just by putting some lines like this. So be sure to do that when you get to the water. And also on these shark fins, all the lines start at the point and come down and spread out as they go towards the bottom of the fin. Okay, get started on that sailboat. Pause this, come back, and we'll talk about these buildings. Okay, these buildings. One thing I do want you to really focus on that's not even done on this paper, this example, is just using horizontal and vertical lines on the sides of the buildings. And then on the front of the buildings, make lines that go the direction of the street. So this is called perspective and a vanishing point. If I were to take the top of this building and draw a line from the top of it and then the street. Those lines would meet up about in the middle of the paper. So I could even put a dot right here. And as you use your cross-hatching lines, I put a dot right here, just try to make those lines go towards that dot. So when I'm straight across from it, that line goes straight across. And then as I come down below it, those lines start to go diagonally up towards the line. That's just going to make your picture look a little more neat.
Hello, Connection High teachers. Quick announcement for
You
the
get to hear the announcement from the principal.
We're going to do our leadership meeting via email. I'll send out an email a little bit with the Google form link to do the survey that we talked about last meeting, and we'll just communicate by email until our next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so all those lines are going towards that vanishing point, and we'll get more into that next term with perspective, but just wanted to mention that. On the sides of the buildings, do your lines horizontally and then vertically. And if I compare these right now, I'm going to need to put a lot more lines on here to make this darker, and more lines on the front. Now, when you get up into the sky, I don't care what direction you go. Just go all over the place. It's a nice dark sky. On the road, make sure your lines go straight across. Because what happens, now I'm going to intentionally mess up here. Maybe I'll use a pencil to show you so I can erase it. If I start putting lines going this direction, it makes it look like the street is tipped. So, well, that didn't erase very good. Make sure your lines go straight across. All right, take a look at this example as you go and keep close to it. But like I said, if you want to change things up, shade things a little bit differently, shade different shapes, please do. Have fun with this. And when you're done, take a picture and submit for grading.